Thank you. I love you, Jade. Well, my name is Elaine. I'm Gino's big sister. And while this is a great honor, it's one I never wanted. I'm still in disbelief, but honor him and be up here and be on the mic, I will. First, I want to thank you. First, I want to thank everyone for coming. I know it wasn't easy. Some of you traveled from out of town, and none of this was simple or cheap. We're all dealing with work, kids, life, but you made it, and that matters. Each one of you mattered to Gino. And I, along with his whole family, thank you. Thank everybody. Gino was born in Covina, California, March 18th, 1982. His given name was Jonathan Michael Westerfield. He was the son of Maria Mateo, known to everyone as Ma, and his father, Don Westerfield, who is here with us today. Sorry, I don't want to forget anything. As many of you know, our mother is no longer mobile due to illness. Yeah. So she couldn't be here, but she asked me to tell everyone thank you for always supporting her son. Now, the name Gino came from our Italian grandmother. Gino is John in Italian. She always called him that, and it stuck. Now, there's so many markers in his life that shaped him, but since his place closes at 8, I'll do 3. 1, music. In junior high, sorry, you can hear me. In junior high, he had to choose an elective. He chose music. It wasn't long before his teacher reached out to our mom and told Gino he had learned all the instruments, including the tuba, and he suggested that she buy a guitar. Gino, of course, found one in a pawn shop. She bought it along with the chord book. He had no classes, no lessons. But once he learned a few basics, that guitar became his elixir for life. With just one strum, the world made sense. Music gave him a voice. It became his language, crying, singing, and screaming with joy through the strings. It was his beginning. A close second to the guitar was theater, which he fell in love with in high school. He often spoke about Mr. Avery, who is here today, and the impact he had on his life. Thank you, thank you. He never forgot you. The arts gave Gino an outlet, a way to process and express everything he felt. One day, our mom was running errands at the West Covina Strip Mall when she heard a jam session competition. A man named Magic, well, some of you guys know, was standing at the door. She said, "My son plays guitar." Magic asked, "Is he good?" She said, "He's really good." He told her to get him, so she did, and Gino played his 15-year-old heart out. And despite his nerves, he got a standing ovation. That's when the die was cast. That was his life. He knew it then, but as we all know, the road to your calling is never smooth or straightforward. When I think of Gino, I think it's impossible to capture all of him, his energy, his drive, his tenacity, his heart, and his intelligence. His mind was sharp, and his mastery of words was broad and deep. His writing carried weight, intention, and insight. 2, meeting Jade. When Gino met Jade, the rest of his life began. There was no more Gino, there was only Gino and Jade. More than the love of his life, She was his soulmate. Their love was built on respect and admiration and a constant lifting each other up. Jade recently came across, after he passed, a text that he sent to a well-known artist. I'll leave his name out. Hey, just reaching out to see if you listened. I work with Jade, my wife. She's the most amazing singer I've ever worked with. We live in our RV full-time as nomads and tour together with our dogs playing music. She's the love of my life, and she's so gifted, even though she doesn't know how much. They sang and played everywhere, from sidewalk strip malls to cities around the world, from dive bars to real stages. They had each other. They were each other's #1 fans. Jade was the sun in his day and the moon at night. He was always in awe of how lucky and blessed he was, and she felt the same way. His heart. As a child, Gino was full of energy. He ran the track at his brother's track meets, played basketball. He always had to be doing something. Me, being a teenager, thought he was a pain. Whew, he was a pain. I remember the top of my dresser was covered in trinkets, jewelry, makeup, typical young women things that, we treasure. And one day, with nothing else to do, he walked in and swiped his arm across the dresser, knocking everything on the floor, and that was it. I grabbed one of those old, flexible Hot Wheel tracks that had been baking in the sun and went searching for him. But he was too fast. Of course, Mom intervened. As you know, Mom, her little angel could do no wrong. Without her seeing, I would silently glare at him with gestures letting him know, I'm gonna get you. Gino says differently, I did get him with that track. So I may have selective memory. This type of scenario was repeated several times over his very young years. Now, many years later, we laughed about the things he did and how he got away with it. But then, one time, it changed. Instead of laughing, he got quiet and said, I'm so sorry I acted like that. With true sincerity from his heart and a little embarrassment. It threw me off. Because first, he was just a kid. Secondly, it was never an issue. We were both grown, and we loved each other very much. Gino's heart, emotions, and tenacity were always big, larger than life. But now, empathy entered, even when it wasn't needed. You see, as a young man, while he was still playing gigs, he worked fast food, delivery, jobs in between, and he messed most of them up. He just couldn't seem to keep any steady type of job. People were quick to think him as lazy, a loser, who just couldn't get it together. See, the world expects you to look a certain way, have a nice car, new house, a steady job, and a beautiful wife. He got that. And if you don't, you're seen as a failure. When we don't put on the act, wear the mask, and play the game, when we don't fit into that box, we're looked at like there's something wrong with us. Gino did not fit in. Even without words, he felt the judgment. It was brutal. And it truly affected him in the deepest recess of his soul. Who doesn't want to be loved, valued, seen, understood? The desire to just fit in is powerful, it's overwhelming, and it can crush a person's spirit. But Gino was never meant to fit in. He was so much more. He wasn't meant to be average. Gino was truly exceptionally gifted. That was the creation of Gino's empathy. That's what people felt when they talked to him. He was genuine. He wore his heart on his sleeve. He cared. And his love was real. That love is why you're all here. Not because he was one of the best guitarists or writers, which he is, I say the best, but because souls like his are rare. If you're lucky enough to call him family, friend, husband, son, or brother, you've been truly blessed. Instead of being shattered by rejection and hardship, Gino leaned in to who he really was. He had the rare kind of courage it takes to be real in a world that rewards fake. He had the strength to be exactly who he was. He chose to live his life his way. Quitting what he was called to do, what he was sent here to do, was never an option. He never gave up his dreams. He never quit his calling. He was resilient. No matter how many times he got knocked down, he got back up. His music, his lyrics, his guitar, and Jade carried his life. He wouldn't have it any other way. Rich or poor, sidewalk free gig or big crowd internationally, it did not matter. It was his purpose, his calling, and he stayed true. I have such incredibly deep admiration and pride and love that's beyond measure. It will never be goodbye to my beautiful, beautiful baby brother. He lives in me, he lives in you, in this world. His music played and written will continue to live well beyond my time and yours. But even more than that, it's his love, his heart that walks with us. That's the true treasure, the rare gift. And that, more than anything, will always live on. Thank you.